Welcome to this explainer. Picture this scenario for a second. It's 2 a.m. You are utterly exhausted. You're staring at the cold glow of your laptop screen, frantically rewriting the exact same generic grant proposal for the 50th time, desperately hoping to just spray it across dozens of funders before a looming deadline. You know exactly how that feels, right? The heavy eyelids, the cold coffee, that sinking feeling that you're kind of just throwing darts in the dark? Well, that desperate spray and pray approach is burning out brilliant nonprofit leaders every single day. Today, we're diving into a game-changing strategy from the FundRobin team that cures this exact problem, so you can stop running on fumes and start winning the funding you actually deserve.
Just 16 months. According to recent sector data, that is the notorious burnout cycle for grant professionals. 16 months! Think about how devastating that is. Why are incredible, passionate people walking away from the philanthropic sector after just a year and a half? Well, it's because they are absolutely drowning in repetitive, manual administrative tasks. You've got the chaotic spreadsheets, the endless email threads, the relentless pressure to just turn out volume. It's completely unsustainable. And here's the real tragedy. When those burnt-down grant managers inevitably leave, your organization's critical institutional knowledge just walks right out the door with them.
So we really have to ask the hard question here. Why does 80% of your proposal effort yield so little funding? Imagine the sheer chaos of managing 50 disorganized spreadsheets, trying to keep track of 100 moving targets. You are putting in heroic, Herculean hours, but by chasing sheer volume, you're inherently diluting your core message. Executive directors often mistakenly apply the same broad, generic strategy they use for general charitable grants to bespoke, highly specialized funds. And honestly, it just doesn't work. It becomes a soul-crushing cycle of high effort and incredibly low reward.
Which brings us to Section 1, the paradigm shift, precision over volume.
Look, if you want to secure high-value funding from historic UK institutions like the legendary London Livery Companies, you have to completely and utterly ditch the volume game. Let's look at the big picture and contrast these two approaches. On one side, you have the exhausting old way, that spray and pray tactic, where you send out 50 generic applications and just cross your fingers. But on the other side, we have the new way, precision philanthropy. For these specialized historic funders, a 70% contextual match is infinitely more valuable than a 10% match sprayed across 100 different foundations. To win here, you need to build deep, relationship-based proposals tailored specifically to the legacy and the heartbeat of the exact funder you're approaching.
Now, a fatal error we see UK nonprofits make all the time is confusing historic London guilds, like the Worshipful Company of Drapers, with US-based venture foundations, like the Draper Richards Kaplan Foundation. I mean, they sound similar, but they are literally worlds apart. U.S. venture funds are looking for high-risk, highly scalable tech-style social enterprise models. Historic London guilds, though, they are focused on established heritage, education, and social welfare. So if you use tech startup jargon like disruption or venture capital metrics in an application to a historic UK guild, that guarantees instant disqualification. You are just speaking the wrong language.
Let's move on to Section 2. Decoding the Drapers' Mandate.
You have to understand, the review boards at these historic livery companies are fiercely protecting centuries of heritage. They aren't just administrators, they are guardians of a legacy. So they evaluate your application through a very specific traditional lens. Boilerplate project descriptions, generic budget formatting, a missing or impersonal cover letter, those are immediate red flags. You absolutely cannot bend their rules to fit your project. Don't try to jam a square peg into a round hole. Instead, you must conduct a strategic audit of your own impact architecture to ensure it perfectly matches their pillars. For the Drapers, those pillars are crystal clear: social welfare, educational heritage, long-term skills development, and support for social exclusion. So, if you have a youth program, don't just call it generic community engagement. Frame it strategically through the lens of educational heritage and long-term skills development. Verify that precise match before you write a single word.
And notice this strict 5-cycle annual review timeline. You've got to backwards plan your submission 3 to 6 months out. 6 months out, you're auditing your impact architecture. 3 months out, your alignment with the Drapers' pillars. By month 0, the deadline, you are fully prepared. Last minute, rushed applications thrown together right before a deadline, they almost never have the depth or the polish required for approval. You need a rigorous, structured grant pipeline so your team can hit these specific cycles calmly, professionally, and with total precision.
This quote from the guide perfectly captures the mindset of traditional boards. For livery companies, a 70% contextual match is infinitely more valuable than a 10% match sprayed across 100 foundations. It really all comes back to authenticity. If your application reads like a mass-produced document, the board just assumes your commitment to their specific cause is equally superficial. You have to prove that you are uniquely and passionately aligned with their deeply rooted history, rather than just, treating them like an ATM.
Up next, Section 3, 2026 Compliance Non-Negotiables.
Okay, before a committee even looks at your beautifully crafted impact narrative, you have to pass a mandatory regulatory filter. The 2026 Safeguarding Checklist requires updated vulnerable adult and child policies, strict GDPR adherence, the latest audited accounts, and a clear blended finance capital stack, meaning a resilient, diversified mix of funding sources. Traditional boards have absolutely zero tolerance for outdated charity commission safeguarding protocols. They want to fund resilient, mature organizations with diversified income streams, not places entirely dependent on a single grant just to keep the lights on. Compliance isn't just an annoying administrative hurdle anymore. It is literally the very first test that proves your organizational maturity and readiness for significant investment.
Imagine a world where hunting down the latest audited accounts or chasing a trustee for a signature is just a thing of the past. Imagine replacing 50 chaotic, color-coded spreadsheets with a single, clean, centralized dashboard that instantly verifies your compliance. The message here is incredibly simple. Centralize to survive. Don't ever let missing paperwork or administrative panic delay your funding and distract your talented team from building their core narrative.
Which brings us to Section 4, Curing the Chaos with a Grants Operating System.
So how do we actually cure this chaos? Well, you need to adopt a grants operating system to transform disorganized panic into a predictable, streamlined pipeline, completely eliminating those repetitive manual tracking tasks that cause that devastating burnout cycle in the first place. Now, I know exactly what you might be thinking. If I use AI tech, won't I sound robotic and just get rejected anyway? And that brings us to the brilliantly effective human-in-the-loop AI strategy. Look, this is not about letting a robot lazily write your application. We've all seen bad AI writing. It hallucinates, it's super repetitive. Instead, this is a strategy where AI executes the heavy, time-consuming structural drafting, while your human team focuses all their vital energy on authentic storytelling. This specific framework keeps your proposal deeply grounded in your real local data, entirely AI-proofing you against generic rejection. Let's walk through exactly how this smart workflow operates in practice. Step 1, the AI generates a sharp, structurally sound first draft based on the funder's exact criteria. Step 2, the system instantly validates your 2026 compliance, so no more digging around for PDFs. And Step 3, the human injects that vital, authentic organizational voice. This is especially crucial for your executive summary. Traditional board members are incredibly time-poor. This workflow guarantees an executive summary that respects their time while vividly mapping your local impact directly to their historical legacy. And the data shows a dramatic shift here. We are talking about taking a brutal, manual proposal process that burns 40 agonizing hours and reducing it down to just 4 hours using a grants operating system. Think about what your team could do with that time. That is 36 hours you get back to focus on building actual human relationships, refining your narrative, and running your life-changing programs. Solving administrative burnout isn't just some pipe dream, it is entirely possible right now with the right technology. Which brings us to our final provocative question for you to ponder today. Will your next proposal burn out your team or build a lasting legacy? It is time to ditch the chaos. Stop burning out your best people on generic, volume-based applications at 2 in the morning. Centralize your assets, upgrade your compliance, and step confidently into the era of precision philanthropy. You've got the tools and the strategy to build incredible, long-lasting relationships with historic funders. Now it's time to put them to work.